you just have to look through it. I know there's only four. One of them is fine. Sure. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
You guys need a white balance?
You good? You are?
Good.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Alamance County Sheriff's Office. We appreciate you being here. Today, Sheriff Johnson will announce the results of this agency's ongoing initiative to combat human trafficking in Alamance County. The latest operation, known as Hot Summer, was conducted this past Tuesday, July the 28th. Now, I provided for you the names of the individuals that have been arrested, and I will be sending you a press release. In addition to that, you'll get a copy of the warrants and the digital photos of the individuals that were arrested. Also, I'd like to welcome Sergeant Paul Davis, representing the Mebane Police Department. And now at this time, let me present to you Alamance County Sheriff Terry Johnson. Sheriff.
Good morning and welcome, media, to the Alamance County Sheriff's Office. On Tuesday, July 28, the Alamance County Sheriff's Office, in conjunction with the Mebane Police Department and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, conducted Operation Summer Heat. This operation is an ongoing effort for us to try to identify and arrest those individuals that are involved in prostitution and human trafficking here in Alamance County and North Carolina. During a day-long operation of approximately 8 hours, 21 people were arrested for soliciting prostitution and drug-related offenses involving prostitution. 3 individuals that were arrested for the drugs, and I think this needs to be noted, is Bernice Clester Spain II was arrested for soliciting prostitution and felony possession with intent to deliver Schedule I heroin. Landon Keith McDaniels was arrested for soliciting prostitution and felony possession of Schedule II methamphetamine and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. Earl Wallace was arrested for 1 count of soliciting prostitution and felony possession of marijuana with intent to sell and deliver drugs, along with all the others. You say, well, why is this important to you, Sheriff? First of all, we know that a lot of our human trafficking victims get involved in prostitution or working for a pimp, and he or she gets them on heroin, methamphetamine, and other drugs to control them. And I think that's why that is interesting here. Another interesting fact, that these individuals that were arrested, as you will see shortly, come from all over the state, from different counties way east, northeast, and it's amazing. That just tells me this operation is very troubling me, because in less than 10 hours we were able to arrest 21 people. But they were coming from all over the state of North Carolina here to Alamance County. This can only be indicative of how bad the problem of prostitution and human trafficking is becoming in our state and in this nation. We are seeing young women and young men's lives being destroyed. All I can say is, wake up, America. This is your country. These are your kids, daughters that are getting involved in this. We need to open our eyes. This is a multi-million-dollar industry here in this state and this nation. Matter of fact, recent statistics show it's a $150 billion industry, only second to drug trafficking in this nation. And when we talk about human trafficking, we're talking about sexual human trafficking and also workforce human trafficking. North Carolina, there's one good point about this. I did research, and North Carolina went from number 8 in 2018 to number 11 in 2019. The statistics for 2020 are not out yet, but we have got to open our eyes to what's going on. The majority of those individuals that are trafficked in this nation come from within the United States and across the Mexico border. We better pay attention to what's going on here in our county, in our state, and our nation. This is definitely a major problem. And we talk about slavery today. This is slavery, folks. This is slavery. These girls, young men, have no way of getting out of this unless we stand up for these individuals. And the biggest problem I see, we do not have enough resources when we catch individuals that are in prostitution. We do not have enough resources in this country to help those individuals come out of it and make a life on their own. Because without resources, guess what they do? They go right back into it and usually wind up dead or seriously hurt somewhere. This is a serious problem. This is why we are standing here before the media today. We recognize that, and people better open their eyes to what's going on. At this time, I'll ask, are there any questions about this operation? Of course, if you will, you can look right here. Here are the 21 different individuals. And you will be getting information on who they are, where they're from, what county they're from, their address, etc. Yes, sir.
Last summer, the Sheriff's Office also arrested and charged 14 people for prostitution. What kind of long-term plans do you have moving forward so that doesn't happen permanently at all?
You just opened the door of a question I wanted to ask, but I wasn't going to put it out there. The Alamance County Sheriff's Office has applied and has been awarded a $375,000 grant to hire 3 human trafficking officers. The approval will have to be made Monday morning at our commissioners' meeting to receive this grant. But these individuals are going to start working every single day on just nothing but the human trafficking and related crimes. We have a tremendous number of hotels in this county, and several of them are being used by your human traffickers and your drug dealers. We're going to work truck stops. We're going to work every avenue where human trafficking can possibly occur. And that is our long-term plan. And I hope other counties will join on with us. We are a very close-knit law enforcement organization here in this county, and we all are committed to see that this problem is properly addressed.
Sheriff Johnson, you said that you were lacking in resources. So in addition to the potential 3 human trafficking officers you would have in your jurisdiction, what other tangible resources do you need to tackle this problem?
I would love to see more resources going to agencies to help these girls or prostitutes that are arrested to get their lives back in order, to get them out and away from your coyotes that are bringing these people here, that are pimps that are forcing these girls into this type of thing. I would love to see resources where the prostitutes that are being forced or the human trafficking victims can come out, get off the drugs or get away from the individual and be able to have a good life here in our county.
When you say resources, what does that mean? Is that nonprofits? Is that mental health? What?
Both. I would love to see our federal government also send down, I know it's a tough time with the virus, send down monies to establish places for these girls to get back their life back in order. Nonprofits could be a big help to us, and they are a big help to us in some respects.
What is something that you're learning about human trafficking, both domestic and sexual, that you didn't know last year? What's new for you this year?
I'll be honest with you, I think the biggest eye-opening experience that I have had from last year is that the amount of victims that are developed by our own in-country people. We, just like say, some of these were arrested, the Johns, what we call the Johns. I feel like if we can curb the demand, we can certainly curb the supply. However, there's so much money being made, $150 billion industry a year off your work, human trafficking, and your sexual exploitation, that we have got to increase our awareness. We have got to work with our courts to have stiffer penalties on the individuals that take these girls and traffic them.
What role did internet, did like social media or internet dating disguises play in this operation?
Big part, big part. They're different stations you can go to on the internet and on social media to find out, to get dates with these girls or guys or whatever. And it's done every day, and thousands have been done. Matter of fact, I think there was one guy we got a cell phone from received. You would not believe it was several, I think 100 some calls or more to girls.
So there was undercover social media work as part of this?
Yes, ma'am.
And we talked about the day of the arrests, but how long did this take of planning and getting ready to make those arrests?
Well, our people and Mebane Police Department, SBI, our people planned. We've been looking at it for several weeks of putting this on, and if you would like to address that, be glad to have you do that. But it was not something that was done overnight.
What does it say that you can have this large number for just a one-day operation?
It was amazing, and I can tell you this, we had planned to have a second day of this operation, but because of the situation in Roxborough, we had to send a lot of our people down there to partner with them. But I assure you, I think we would probably had 50 because we had to cut it off, Any other questions? Anything you'd like to say? I'll turn it back over to Mr. Byron Tucker.
Thank you, Sheriff. The photos that you see, I will send those to you, and they are in order that corresponds with the press release that you now have and the one I'll send out. So starting with the gentleman at the top left, Mr. Abels, and then go down that road, next row, and so on. And so they'll coordinate with what you see in your release. Also, the grant that Sheriff Johnson was mentioning, that grant provides not only for human trafficking, but also for investigations of internet crimes against children. So we're very excited about this, and that's going to be a big help for us. And also, I prepared a press release regarding that grant that you'll also get once I send your digital photos as well. Okay?
Can we just get somebody to comment on the long-term goals of that grant? How that may, what your expectations are to achieve with that grant?
Well, currently, what's happening now with the operations that we've conducted, like the one last Tuesday and prior to that, we're pulling folks out of our Special Victims Unit headed up by Lieutenant Jaleesa Washington, and some of our folks out of our Criminal Investigation Division. Now keep in mind, Special Victims Unit and Criminal Investigation, they have other things that are going on. They have a very full plate, but the sheriff is so determined that we're going to combat human trafficking and internet crimes against children that our staff makes plans. So you were asking about the planning process. We make plans to find a day that everyone can come together that we put this operation in. With these 3 positions that we plan on putting on, these individuals will be dedicated to nothing but human trafficking and internet crimes against children, meaning that they won't be investigating break-ins. That they probably will not be involved in domestic or assaults or missing children and that type of thing. They could, but their plate will be directed solely to human trafficking and internet crimes against children. And we know that we have that grant in place for a minimum of 3 years. So that'll get us over a big hump to combat this. Anything else, folks?
A lot of these people are charged with a Class 1 misdemeanor, typically results in 4 to 25 months. How do you plan on working with the courts to maybe increase the sentence or, make it a heavier penalty for somebody resulting in that?
We are still investigating behind every single one of these people, and and we will continue until we reach a dead end. And if there are some human trafficking charges that can be made federally or state, we will certainly do it. But we're going to follow every lead we got on any one of these arrests to try to determine what part they're playing in this situation.
Will the 3 officers be sworn federally as in a federal task force, or are they the jurisdiction as county?
They will be under jurisdiction of the county, but if the federal government develops a task force, I'll certainly assign them to it. Because what happens in Alamance County don't necessarily come from Alamance County and don't necessarily stay in Alamance County. Any other questions? Well, I would like to thank the media for being here today, and I hope you get this out, because the people in North Carolina need to know what's going on in their neighborhoods. Thank you very much.